believe it or not, but one of the best ways to find new winning ad angles is basically just to look at what people are commenting under your best performing ads. That's why I built this automation, which will take all of your ads from Meta. It will then fetch it into a sheet. Then it will automatically query search for the best performing ones. It will then scrape all the comments on those ones. And then with a list of prompts that I have built out that you can also go ahead and use, you can then use Claude or ChatGPT or whatever AI platform you want to use to analyze the customer sentiment and then find their problems, desires, and kind of come up with new ad angles from that. Super practical. I left all of the JSON files and prompts beneath so you can just go ahead and copy that and basically deploy this right after watching this video. No fluff, super tactical, super practical. So hopefully you enjoy. Bye.
Hello and welcome to this video. This is the first step of setting up the ad scraping system in which you're able to scrape all of the comments from your best performing ads, and the first thing that you need to do is pretty much to set up data layer. This is super straightforward and there's really no reason for me to overcomplicate this. You basically just pull up a new sheet. You can see that we have a tracking sheet demo up here. You just basically want to go under extensions and then onto add-ons and then get add-ons. Then you want to go and search for the tool called Data Slayer. I might be able to leave a link below, and then you just press this one and you go and install it. You can see I already have it installed, but what Data Slayer is pretty much just I'm not sure what you call it, but it's a way for you to import like all of your ad creative information. There's a bunch of different pools of data that you can get. Specifically here, your meta ads information, that's what we want to get. But what you do is that you start installing that, and it's like an alternative to Supermetrics. So if you know Supermetrics, it's basically just a alternative to Supermetrics. But you go into your tracking sheet. Once you have that installed, go under extensions. You can see I have it here. Launch sidebar. Needed to pull the data or like to launch. From here, you pretty much just press add new query. So I'll do that. Then you add a connection. So as said, there is tons of different data. You could even put your Instagram insights. You could pull your Google Analytics, your Google Ads, like your ads manager information. But we just want to pull your Facebook ads. Then you select your hub account. So that's where you have all your ad accounts connected to. And you press confirm. So I just paused it for a second, but because I don't want to disclose all the clients that we work with. But you go onto the connectors and then under your accounts, and then you'll be able to have a list of all the ad accounts that you have connected to your hub account. So the root email that you have connected to Facebook. Then you just press whatever ad account that you want. So let's say I want the Organic Rocket one, which is our company. Next thing is that you go under the data table, and this will be all of the metrics that you actually pull into the sheets. So let me just pause it once again to show you the things that you need in order to execute this setup. So I just added the list of things that you can add up here. You can see that I added the metrics first and foremost for the actual KPIs for the ads, and then all of the information about the ads in the select dims and rows beneath. So you'd want to pull the ad name. I like to also just have more information. So there's also the campaign name, and then the week, and then most importantly, the promoted post ID. You'll need the promoted post ID when you go on to make.com, and you need to pull the actual information because we need to source after the actual post ID. So it's very important that you include that. But once you've done that, you need to actually run the table, and you need to first and foremost set up the options. I can just show you really quickly what I set here. So you can just pause the video right now if you want to do this, but it's under options, and then for this specific search, I've just filled these out. Next thing that you do is that you press generate a table, and what it will do is that it will just fill this sheet out with all the information from your ad account. I don't have any more API calls on this account for today, so I'll just show you what it looks like. So if I just zoom in a bit so you can actually see the results from this, but just what it would look like. I'll go into this tracking sheet right here. You can see we actually pulled this from another account where this is the actual post ID over here, not this one. I just pulled a lot of dummy information as well. But the post ID is over here, and what we did then is now that you have it in here, in this big sheet, you can now pull a query search in another sheet where you only filter it after the ads that have had a certain criteria. So I wanted to pull all of the ads where it's spent over $100, and you can do this like however you want to. If you have a standard deviation, If you like think about the bell curve, so all of your ads which are in the upper echelon, you could filter it for that. I just want to pull as many comments as I can because I really think that there could be a lot of golden nuggets in ads that necessarily hadn't popped up, but there might be a lot of objections in there that we could source from. So I've just filtered by all the ads which spent over $100. And now you can see that we have all the post IDs lined up right here. The next thing for us to do is to actually set up make.com, and I'll probably make another video on how we set up make.com from scratch so you can actually do that. But the flow goes as follows. You insert this this search row module with Google Sheets, and I've just had that on demand, so it doesn't run every 15 minutes or 1 hour and whatnot. It's just run when I says it needs to run. And then we have this iterator because you will have a lot of different ads from your sheet where you need to pull all the different post IDs. So we need this iterator to basically just split them up. That's what an iterator does. You can see that there's one input right here, which is the search itself, and then it iterates them out in different bundles, which would be all of the ads. Hope that makes sense. Then we actually need this sleep module. I'll just explain the workflow pretty briefly. I added this sleep module because I found when I just ran the actor, it would run a lot of different times. But when it then, so pretty much the workflow is as follows. It will run this actor, and then we have another workflow to watch when that actor runs and to get the database items. And you can also see up here, there are 98 records. And if you don't break it up and you don't let the automation just have a little break, it doesn't have the time to actually catch up, and it will just get blocked. So I just added a 60 second timer. And then here at the end, this API actor runs and it sources for the post ID. I'll break down in another video, but first and foremost, you should by now have generated that table. You should have all your information in here. In the next video, I'll show you how to set make.com up and also how to integrate everything regarding that. So the next thing that you need to do is to set up make.com. Make.com is basically just a no-code. It says it's a no-code development platform. It's pretty much just a way or a tool for you to automate like mundane tasks, pretty much. So everything which could potentially be automated by a computer, make.com allows for that. It's a slightly more advanced option than Zapier. It's less complex than something like N8N, if you know what that is. But pretty much just create an account. Once you've created an account, you'll get into your dashboard. You just go under scenarios, and then you create a new scenario up in the top right-hand corner. I'll leave the JSON file for you so you can just access that, but I think it would be pretty helpful for you to just understand how it works. So the first thing that you need to do is to create, or pretty much just press this button. It really is that simple. Maybe not, because it seems like I can't. Let me just try to refresh this. It was not that simple, but we're back. You just press this button and then you go on to Google Sheets. Then you want the module called Search Rows. Then we want to just take the sheets that we just created pretty much, but I didn't have any information in that, so I'll just pull the other sheet here. So you just put the sheet ID. I'll just filter it by this emoji right here. Then you want the actual spreadsheet ID that you want to pull. So I, in this case, want this one, which is a query search. So if I go up here, you can see that this was the query search of this one right here. I used this one right here, where the ad spend were over 100, and I just had the ad ID, the post link. This one you wouldn't need, and the post ID itself. I'll probably make a custom query search that you can use based on this setup right here, and I'll just leave it beneath so you can copy it. Should be fairly simple. But let me go back here and let me pull this information. Right now, we don't really need anything more than that. The next thing is, as said, for us to add the iterator. And this is where so it needs the iterator. And we just insert the actual post ID here. So that means that the post ID will just be broken down, each and every one of them. Let me go and pull a random one. And just let this run for a sec. Cool. So now you can see that I've just set this up. Next thing would be to add the sleep module. And again, this is just for it to actually work once we actually initiate it, because else it will break down once we have it, once we have the other automation catch this one. So as said, the way that it works is that you have the API actor run, and API, that's how do I explain what API is? It's a full stack web scraping data extraction platform. So basically just a super nice place where developers most usually publish web scrapers, they publish AI agents and other tools that like the public can use. So shout out to all those guys making all those tools. I'll happily use them. But you need to set up this sleep module before adding the actor. You can see I did that. So the next thing is basically just to search in here for API. And then you want to run an actor. This is where it gets a bit tricky because you need to set up a API connection. So you need to first and foremost press add up here and then add the API token. So you actually need to go into API, create an account and create an API token. I'll quickly show you what that looks like. So without doxing myself completely, all I did is that I signed into API. I basically just logged in. Then you can go under settings and then under API integration, you have your personal API token and you just copy that and you just go and insert that into right here. Super simple. I hope I don't have to overcomplicate that. So that's just what you do. You can sign up on mail with API. I know there's a free limit credit that you can use. So I'll just go and sign up with that. Once you're in here and let's say you have your connection, you need to connect the actor. So the actor is the next step. We just pause. So what you can do when you are in API is that you can actually just, because as I said, they have a store. So you can just go under here. You can either go under store or on actors, go to store, and I would search for Facebook, comment, scraper. Very nice. I used a specific one because I saw that from this one that API made, it's $40 a month plus usage. So that can get very expensive very fast. But I believe I used another one, and it was this one, Facebook comments PPR. It got 1 star, but it works for me, so I'll just continue using it. It's a 50 cent per 1,000 comments, and like depending on how many comments you get on your post, it's a fairly good deal. So you just press start on that, and you can press start and then just cancel it right away, but that should save it under your actors. So when you just go on here, you can see that it will be under your actors. It's a bit chaotic explanation, but I'll just press start and then you can it will start running the actor. It will just like do a demo one pretty much, but you can just press abort down here. Actor was aborted. It doesn't do anything right here. And then once you go under your actors, it should be right here. So now you have the information in here about the the actor, that's what they call it. And this gets a bit like codey and nerdy. So hopefully this makes sense, but you just go under actor, the actual actor you use, and then you want to copy what is called the JSON file. I don't know how to explain what JSON is. I'll probably just do that. So apparently JSON is just a human readable text to store and transmit data. Super nice explanation, better than I ever would be able to explain it. So instead of just taking the post ID or whatnot here, you copy the JSON file right here. So you just take this, then you go into the actual sheet, and then you select the actors. So remember, you have all your actors from that list, and you should be able to just pull that right here. Then you input the JSON, and you can see right here where it says post ID and then this dot icon. In here is just a default value, but you actually want to pull the value from the iterator that we have here, because we want the sheet ID or the post ID from up here. But remember, before, if we just only run one query, it would only get one of the post IDs. That's why we split it up with the iterator, so we get all of these different ads in here. In this example, 11 different ones. So we get like 11 different posts with all their different comments. So you go on here and then you pull the value from the iterator. So you can say that it got this value right here. So I'll just delete this. And then I accidentally also deleted the quotation mark. And then I just have the value and then save. And if I run this actor, I can just pull this one right here. You should see that if I run this actor, it should start running in here. Let me just see, runs. You can see here that it's starting to scrape the actual ad that I had in my query search. So you can see here 21 results, which is approximately all of the, it's not all of the replies to comments, but it's all of the comments that is initiated on this post. So if you went under this post here, you'd be able to see those are all the comments. But you can see right now we still have an issue because like where is this information? It is in here. So if you click here, we're able to see all of the messages, and this is fine. This is super cool, and you could go copy this. You could go into ChatGPT, you can go into Claude, and you can start playing around with this data. But we actually instead just want to have that in a sheet instead of in here, because then it'd be easier for us to just go copy. We'd be able to just have a nicer view, and we'd also be able to go analyze all of this, like in a make.com automation with Claude or ChatGPT before pasting it to sheets, but we'll also just have a nicer overview afterwards. So I'll show you what that looks like now. We'll need to create our second actor, or like our second workflow. And you can see that there is 100 records waiting to be processed right here. So I'll just delete those afterwards. But first and foremost, let me just go in here. We'll just name this first one. So I'll just call it demo 1.0 and then sheets to API. Then go save, and then we'll create a new one. I'll just turn that on. Oh, actually, I'll not turn it on because it's every 15 minutes and that will be a bit costly. But let me create the second one. And again, for this one, we want to use API again. And instead of actually running an actor, we want to see when an actor runs, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just see here. If I didn't mess this up, if it's a task or an actor, it's an actor, go. Good. So we just watch if an actor runs, and we choose the same hook as we had before. Next thing is for us to, let me just check. Next thing is for us to get the dataset item. So just get dataset item, pull from this ID over here. So this watches what API actor ran, and then this should get the ID from this run pretty much. So I'll show you what that looks like. First, we just need to run this, and then actually run the initial. I just run this instead. It's the same setup. And this should trigger this one, unless I've made a wrong connection to this API setup. So we'll see in just a second, because it should start running up here. You can see it's running a new query, and then in 1 second it should start running this, and if it doesn't, it's because I made a mistake in the build. So we'll just give it a sec. So I made a mistake, and that's because I used this different webhook where it wasn't connected to the right actor. So I need a new webhook, and I'll just call this Facebook comment scraper. And then the API connection, you just add the original connection you made, and then the actor that you want to like have it watch for, pretty much. So I'll do that, and you can see the webhook now change, so now it should work. So I'll run this again. And I'll insert the information. So this actor now runs, and if I go on the runs, you can see up there that it started to run. So let me just see when this triggers. So it just finished the run, and you can see right here that it pulled the bundle. So if I put I'm not sure if I can pull the actual information. I'm not sure where that is, but basically you have the actor, and now you connect the dataset item. So you can just press this ID right here, and this ID right here, that's where it was. This should get the actual dataset item. So if I just run this, just insert that there, and I run this module, and I insert that exact same ID. Dataset was not found. It's because this is the wrong ID. Data default dataset ID. It's this one. So if I do it again, boom, run, ID, you can see that it now pulls all of the comments in here. So the next thing that we want to do, and you can do this two ways, either you can set up a ChatGPT module in here or a Claude module in here, or you can just pull it directly to ChatGPT, you can just pull it directly to Sheets and then afterwards take that list and then go into Claude, ChatGPT and whatnot. I'd rather show you that module because honestly that's probably what I'd use myself. Yes, you can like have it analyze customer sentiment from the get-go, but I like the flexibility of just having that information listed out. Nice copy paste, and with the copy paste then using something called Whisper Flow. So if you're on Mac, this will be a lifesaver for you. It's just like a way for you can just go and like, I'll just try to use it right now. Whisper Flow is a tool where you can press a button and then it records what you say and then it'll paste it out. So you can see I just set that, and basically you can just play around with the AI talking to it. So I like that flow better. So the next step is for you to just create a sheet and paste this information. So I'll pause the video and show you how you do that now. So this is by far the very hardest step in a way. You basically just have to create a new sheet and then name it. And then you go here and you press add another module and Google Sheet, and then I'm pretty sure it's just add row. And you get the spreadsheet ID. So I had this one up here, which is called demo. And obviously that was a joke. This is a pretty straightforward step. And then you press the sheet name, and that's just whatever you have down here. So this is just called sheet 1. Therefore, in make.com, it becomes sheet 1. Then you press the values, and I like to have two different ones. You could either have I want the actual context of the bundle, so the actual dataset item, and then you can either have the count, like the bundle position, or the name. So for this example, I'll just go with name, and then the other one I'll go with message. I know in the example that I laid out on LinkedIn and in this like lead magnet or whatnot, it was just the count, but I just want for this demonstration just to have this. I'll go press save, run this module. Miles Olsen, I love you. And you can see that it should now just put it in here. Miles Olsen, I love you. Let's just do some formatting to this so that it looks a bit nicer, and then I'll be right back. So I just said name and comment here. Let me try to actually pull an example. So if we could pull this actor right here and we actually run this. Let me see if I have something copied. And can we run? Okay, it doesn't. Let me just try to run the whole workflow from end to end so you can actually see what that looks like. So if I log in here on make, let me just pause. So I have the original up here, and let me just go and instead of time, just run it on demand. Let's try to actually run a scenario where we'd pull this information right here, and then we'd iterate it, we'd have it sleep, and then run an actor. And then we should get the actor or like the information here. So it should trigger once that has run, get the information, and then paste it into Sheet. So let me just try to, and I'll just pause it once again so you don't have to sit here and wait. Run once. So you can see there first, and the first module is basically going through that. But I'll unpause it and then unpause it once it has run. So you can see the first one just ran right here. So it will now run the actor up in Avify. You can see it's running right here. But on the other hand, what we also see with this one is that it's now started on the next bundle. So the initial search, it came up with not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but 11 different bundles. So the iterator will go through them like one by one and then take all the comments. It'll just have this pause period because else it will just overload the system. Then run the actor, and then in a second, once this has loaded, so 21 results should load right here. I can see I made a mistake, and that's because I didn't use the right dataset ID. Default dataset ID, that's the one we need to use. Let me just save that, run it again. And then pause it again until the second one comes, and then you can actually see that it should work. So now the second one came through. It actually took like 2 seconds. I didn't even get to take a sip of my coffee. But now it should load the results, so 10, and then when it finalizes at 21, we should see it come through. Cool, there, and it should be this one, so watch actor run. Boom, and now you can see up here in the sheet, Lisa, Nicola, Dawn, all of their comments, they're just being added in. And you can run this on a regular cadence, so you can, for example, on a week-to-week basis, see all of your either new best winning ad or your existing best winning ads, and just see all of the new comments that are on them. And then it will just go by your ad one by one, and you can kind of gauge the customer sentiment in terms of, for this product, it's a supplement for females. And I believe the angle was that the person took something to the effect of TRT to overcome the problems that they had. And then it basically just gauges the, for example here, HRT helped me, analogy tables keep itching, and vaginal itching and irritation away 53 now. So that's like you both have the customer sentiment, what they're thinking, their problems, but also how they speak, which I think is a huge benefit. So you could pull this information as well, paste it into Claude, and then have your best scripts or your competitor's best script written in the tone of voice of your actual customers or the people who engage with your posts. So that's it for the actual setup with make.com. Hopefully that makes sense. This will just keep running. But I actually wanted to share with you what's the next step in terms of us actually taking this and then using it with Claude and whatnot. So I'll either have this in the background, I'll just use this information, but then probably give you some prompts that you can actually go use to go and put this into full effect. So the next thing that we want to do is to actually go into Claude or ChatGPT. You might use TypeMind, you might use whatever AI tool. You have to actually start analyzing the comments. I like to use Claude because I found that it's just better for copywriting. So if you have a competitor script, if you have something else you want to take inspiration from, and you actually want something good that you can then go on and make ads from, I'd recommend Claude. Transparently, you can use whatever you want. This whole process of breaking down this sentiment is not something that we've played that much with, to be honest, but I thought it'd be cool to just do like a breakdown on how I'd approach it, because I actually think if you get the comments, there will be a lot of nuggets that you can just pull from intuitively. And there might also be a few different ways where you can take some of that information and rewrite your best ad just in the lingo of your customers. So I had a few different prompts down here that you can go and use. And you might ask, how did you come up with these prompts? Guess what? I just asked ChatGPT for the prompts. I asked ChatGPT, how do you ask Claude for the best breakdown? And it came up with these different ones. So let me just pull these on and let's see how they go. They might be terrible, but let's try to run this just with the examples. And transparently, there wasn't that many comments because, as you saw here, I only pulled this many ads. And it was only ads that spent over $100, and it was in the last 2 weeks, I believe. So there isn't that many comments. I believe there's like 20, 30 ones. And a lot of these were the same if you actually broke them down. But nonetheless, I'll pull this information and let's see what we get. So some negative comments. So what I'd probably do differently is I'll just paste some context about the product itself first. Let me actually just go do that. So I'll see if I can use Whisperflow so you get an idea of how to use Whisperflow, but I'll go here. Just for context, these comments are all placed under an ad for a perimenopause product. I'll leave a link to the actual company so you can go analyze what the company is all about and then match all of those comments to that brand so you have some context to why they're saying what they're saying. So you can see pretty simple prompt, and then here is the brand. Boom. Let's see if Claude can just help us with that. Okay, it couldn't do that. I know ChatGPT can do that. Let me just pull some information from here. This will be super budget friendly. Cool. So if we just pull that again, some of the people, they had frustration with HRT. So they're like, I'm on HRT, but this is still not working. It's too expensive. What's the point of HRT if you're also taking this? She's advertising. And then there's some other stuff. I don't think this was the best one, so I'll keep going through these. So there's an underlying frustration. I think this is a good one because this ad saw traction generally because it focused on like an HRT angle. And we could like go to market, for example, with this concept of there's an underlying frustration within the people who would buy perimenopause product, as in HRT isn't completely working and I still have this like annoying thing that I can't get rid of and I don't know how to get rid of it. Maybe I should just go buy this perimenopause product. Too expensive, all these different things. You could overcome that with like ads specifically. Is there any product skepticisms? Stop trying to sell bullshit to people. Stuff like that. I think we have a too small and too narrow pool of comments to actually make this useful. I'll try to pull through a few more. See if we have a good one. Objections. Maybe in terms of this one, if there's a way for us to overcome the actual objections. So for example, this one, that's what I mentioned before. It's a complementary solution, less than a daily coffee in terms of cost. Credibility, showcase PhD scientists. That might be good in terms of all the skepticism that's there. I know that's also a concept which has worked in the ad account. Raw and authentic language that matches the user comments. I'm not sure about that. I just think in general running like native UGC for this case makes sense. Let me see. Some specific targeting. Social proof. AB probably wouldn't do that. Another thing that you could do if you actually had an ad would be to take a script of the best performing ad and then go rewrite it in the customer language. So let me actually try to find an ad and get the script and then actually have the ChatGPT rewrite that in the actual language of this kind of demographic. So I just pulled this ad up from Nutrafol, and I know it's not the same because this is, I believe, like a supplement for hormonal changes, whereas the other product is for perimenopause. But let me just go and copy this script, and let me paste that here. Let me go here. Let's see what we get. See, this could work depending on the execution of the creator. I didn't listen to the other ads, so I wouldn't have no idea. I probably wouldn't say Superwoman, even though I know it's the lingo of the brand. But it's a supplement that helped me actually feel like myself again. More energy, drug anxiety. So I think actually this script is pretty shit, to be fair. Let me go pull another example because this didn't end up like I wanted it to be. Okay, so I pulled this up instead and I think it was a bit better. I haven't read through it, so we might both be in for a shock. But I just said analyze this following competitor ad and break down their structural framework, identifying patterns and how they present their offer. And then it did that and it started with the personal testimony, relatability segment, product explanation. I think it found something which is a bit better. Let me just read through it. Perimenopause sucks, but you don't have to just survive. That could be a hook. I'm not here to sugarcoat it. I'll probably just remove the look, like all of those things. It just seems so weird. Nobody would say look and then like have a natural pause and then say I'm not here to sugarcoat it. You just say I'm not here to sugarcoat it. I probably wouldn't say I was exactly where you are, but I'd say I was going through X, Y, and Z problem as well. I'm on HRT and it's not working. So a lot of this comes down to the actual execution of the creators. And then they just list all these different things. But like, I know a hard pellet, whatever this word is called, that was actually a comment that were in the Facebook because I looked through it and I actually sent that to our team as well. So it's pretty fun that it actually incorporated these things. Then like if the creator had good execution, this is not another BS product. This is the lifeline I wish I had, something like that. This section, like, I don't mess with that too heavy. But again, here PhD scientists who really know their shit. Again, using the lingo of the actual audience. I know the audience here is kind of like the superwoman, so it might work out fine. I'd probably take all of the customer reviews and then either just break it down into sentiments or see if I can just snatch like some golden nuggets. So, for example, she needs to review your symptoms as a sign that you're not getting enough, either because you're poor absorber or because you need a higher dose. It's very common, back to your doctor for review, rather than telling everyone that it doesn't work. See, what you could do, for example, when you have this, is that you could go as Claude for like outliers in the reviews or reviews that are super long and stuff like that, because we could do, for example, I'm gonna say we, but you could do, like if you had such a long comment, you could do a comment review ad where you'd have the creator, which was initially on the video, and then she could reply, be like, I just received this on my other video or like this ad. And I promise I went to my doctor, I did X, Y, Z, nothing still worked. And now you appeal to all the people who might have tried X, Y, and Z, and they're just so desperate as to what am I to do next. And then the product becomes the perfect solution. But yeah, I encourage you to set this workflow up. Just get a list of all your customer comments or just people's comments. Start analyzing that with Claude. Transparently, you can start by just running it through API or even just scroll through run the query search, pull all of the links up, strip them up, or just copy paste them into ChatGPT or Claude. Have that just make a big ass list and then go break them down one by one or have them analyze them. That might be easier instead of setting this whole complicated workflow up. But in all reality, you can just choose whatever you like the most. You have the option now to do this. I hope it makes sense. I'll probably add some other videos beneath on how you can go execute different styles of prompts or like copy competitor scripts or whatnot, or link some more valuable resources below, because I don't feel like the Claude prompts right here were that good. The last one might make sense, but it's more so like I mostly covered in this video the overall mental model of using the comments to something useful. Hopefully this whole thing was valuable and hopefully you got what you signed up for. And yeah, thank you for taking the time to watch it.